What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? This is your girl Nala-Ife. Long time no see. For my folks that are on our Nala-Ife Tarot channel, it has been a while, but I have not forgotten. Okay, so lots of stuff going on in the world, and I figured to come back and do a reading. I'm going to start off with looking at what's happening worldwide and what we could expect. This reading may go all over the place. Um, it may not, you know. Shout out to BB. What's going on, BB? BB is our illustrious moderator, okay? And she don't take no shit, all right? So I'm live on both channels, Nala-Ife Tarot and also Nala-Ife Talks Live. I don't have anything in the description box. This was impromptu, okay? Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for coming through, BB. So I'm hoping that we, for the spirit of everything, that we're able to get things out. So I'm gonna turn the camera on in just a moment. Y'all gonna have to excuse my hands, okay? All right. I don't have any nail porn for you tonight, okay? Speaking of that, all right, we still do have a separate channel, and we will get into some of our naughtier readings, but it has been serious times right now. I know that it would be a great break in things, but I have to give myself that break. Shout out to Corey. What's going on? Oh, Kim. Oh, so Kim finally reached out to you? Nice, nice. That's what's up. And shout out to my big brother Corey. BB says here, Ice Cube is a Gemini. I was just about to post a quote from their old school song, "Fuck the Police." You can do that. I might even put it on the screen though, on some real rap. But if y'all have questions too, you know, don't be afraid to post those questions. I mean, this is a late night session. I'll get back into the astrological things. I haven't even really looked at, you know, I haven't been following. I haven't really been. I've been kind of checked out, and then I checked in at the wrong time. So since I checked in for me at the wrong time, let's go ahead and get into it, because we got a couple of things to look at. But I would like to cover and like to talk about um, first, before I get into that. If you are watching this as a playback, either on Nala-Ife Tarot or Nala-Ife Talk Live, make sure you fast forward through to when you see the camera on if you want to get straight into the reading, okay? Right now, I'm talking to get out my viewpoints, and that's what we're doing, okay? Okay, Corey, you said you'll get back to me. Long day tomorrow. I'm out. No worries. Have a good night, my love. Okay, we'll talk soon. I need to reach out to you too to follow up with you, but yeah. Nonetheless, fast forward, because I'm talking with the family right now. There's a couple of things that I want to know. Okay. And these things are generic, of course. Some people say, well, you could just look at the alignments and you can see this, or you can look at this video and but for me, I have to do it in a way as if I'm ignorant to it, so I can allow spirit to transmit to me, which I'm able to then translate to you um, what I'm seeing and what's going on. BB says here, my question would be advice for people in the movement. Very good. Very good. I'm going to put that up. There it is. My question would be advice for people in the movement. And you know what? That's where we're going to start off with. I'm going to put that question up because I think that that's very important. Um, I would like to know that as well. I would also like to know what's going on politically. If you guys have been following, I believe that there's been a Twitter battle with China, with dignitaries and people who are in places in high positions, or political figures, you know, the Chinese, I guess, what is it called? I can't think of the name of it. There's been a whole thing with them and them criticizing the U.S. because of these things related to the Black Lives Matter movement, and telling the U.S. basically, you know, how dare you judge us about when you yourself are responsible for committing crimes against humanity. So what I'm kind of looking like is like, I know that it's just words, but you guys know that oftentimes words can lead to physical exchanges, and we are all in the midst of that. So I'm interested in knowing about the U.S. and Chinese and the Chinese relations, and if there is something that's going down, because I believe when we did the coronavirus reading, it looked as though there would be some sort of war from that reading, okay, as it related to the coronavirus at that time. But, you know, little did we know these type of things could be going on as far as the human rights violations. We already know about human, you know, police brutality and that sort of thing. That's not even an argument from where I stand. However, we didn't know, or at least because we didn't want in on the plan, right? If this is a planademic, we didn't understand how this would break out, or that this would come in this wave, despite the fact that there had been a history in this country that is so unsavory to Native Americans, Black Americans, and I'm refraining from using the word African Americans, because that would denote that we were not Americans first, okay? And just for lack of a better words, I'm going to say Black Americans or Black Native Americans too. And make sure we hit all the points. There's been definitely an unsavory history, and a lot of these things are coming up to a boil. Some would even say that the contracts are up. And so we just want to see how the world is going to progress. I mean, I found it wild and eerily strange that the movement made it all the way to the Pope to even speak out about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I found it strange because it's not like we don't already know these things. It's not like we, you know, the world didn't already understand the dynamic, not just here in the United States. So let's not even bash the United States alone. I mean, China, for one, recently during the epidemic, right, was this, I mean, probably has already been. There's a whole history on China. I'm not going to get into that. But recently was cited for its abuse of its African citizens, or even Black Americans who were traveling there. So for them to even criticize the U.S. seems hypocritical. But nonetheless, the world, not just the Americas, but Europe as well, has especially contributed to the enslavement and the prejudice and racism against people of deep melanin color all across the world. So I want to look at how this new awareness changes things for the better or the worse. And we all are aware, okay, that sometimes for the change to become better, war and anarchy breaks out in order to completely demolish the whole thing, okay? Like a tower moment, you know, that Uranus and Scorpio energy that's derived from the Tower card. It has to happen in order to level the playing field. And we may be going through that Tower moment now. We do have Jupiter in Capricorn. We have Saturn going retrograde in Aquarius, which will be meeting up in Capricorn in July. We have Venus retrograde right now. We have Jupiter retrograde right now. What else? Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and then Mercury will be entering retrograde all at the same freaking time. Okay. Very, very interesting times. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's super passionate. Some people are just passionate and don't know what to do. And if you follow my channel, Nala-Ife Talks Live, just type in your search bar, because I don't have anything in my description bar right now. I even expressed to you my concerns, but my concerns, I was focusing on a microcosm or a, my feelings as it related to the community I come from, and its awareness about these times and how a subset of people conducted themselves or utilized this energy, and out of pure frustration and disappointment. And it even extends past that. It is frustration that I have, and I'm going to get into the reading. So if you're here for the reading, fast forward, come back, okay? My frustration and disappointment are also in the leadership, because the leadership is, as we would like to believe, that is here to bring us awareness. The self-serving energy just can't escape them, because in these times, because there's so much chaos, we should be very cognizant and watchful, because even someone with the best of intentions, if the ego is unchecked, could do real damage. We talked about issues on my other channel as it related to social beliefs, especially within our communities, as it related to homosexuality. And we have had leaders and people I respect, I'm talking about, and I still respect on some level, though I am losing respect and trust, and really I don't trust people too far as I can throw them. We've had people incite violence with that of an oppressed, within an oppressed group, against a group of people, and they bear no responsibility for that, but yet they hoisted themselves in positions for us to trust in them, or to feel like, well, you can't trust in them, so you might as well come with us. Well, how about we don't do that? How about we leverage that we feel differently, and if this is your character, and that's fine, but I don't want to go your way, because if your thought process blinded you from the criminal aspect of what it was that you were purporting, I don't want my world to look like that. I don't want my world to look as if people can be mistreated, and yet we are fighting for equal treatment, but subgroups within our community are ignored, including what I identify as, and that is a Black American woman. If my womanhood is not respected, even in the Black Lives Matter movement, then I have to give my energy to groups that respect that, and they offer protection, offer like-mindedness, and sanctuary for our passions. Okay. And then we look at other groups, such as trans Black Americans, both female presenting, obviously born as a woman versus, identifying. And if your rhetoric as a leader incites violence, irregardless to what your points are, if the strong points or the loudest sound of your voice incites violence and exclusion of women or people who identify as trans, irregardless to what your personal beliefs are, if it incites that violence, it is not a place in which we can build a firm foundation for the future, yet another ticking time bomb that's being created. That's what my wisdom states here. In the past, women were burned at the stake for even being spiritual, were murdered, burned alive. And it was the gospel. And at that time, it was considered okay. But since then, we have learned better about that. We should be. But it seems that we don't seem to learn a critical lesson here. And that is, you don't deal with groups of people with anger and murder. Okay? Because it's something you don't understand. And further isolate them. Because they can become your enemies. Whereas they could be your allies. And I can't associate myself with that type of energy. I can't sit here and say it's okay and say it's right. Okay? And so in my support of this movement of people of color, people who have been focused on and to be brutalized by police brutality, I stand behind the movement from the standpoint of the spirit of the people who are frustrated and crying out for justice. Not from the standpoint of being blind. I understand that there are players in this game, globalists that are in this game, that are using those emotions to further their agenda. And what I say to that is this. If we are aware of that, then let's change the momentum. Let's use the energy, but let's change the momentum. That under that particular umbrella, all people of color can strive for equality. Then we can talk about the social dynamics. But we must respect people where they are. Furthermore, enough is enough in seeing our leaders change their narratives depending on the audience they're in front of. I have watched leaders go in front of hostile audiences that completely negate the narrative and speech and then try to sugarcoat it as if it's not wrong and as if it's not against the platform that they've built. I've seen people who are in positions of leadership, and this is just me getting it out the way, okay? People that are in positions of leadership that have carried out the same oppression upon their own people because upon their own people that they seek to lead because there's a differing of opinion. So they have worked to silence those people. So it's a scary thing for me because I'm like, well, if you've worked to silence those people through your associations and the various people that you have linked up with to build up steam for your vision, where does it stop? If my opinion differs from yours, will you seek my death? Will you seek my termination? Do you see me as a machine that you should terminate because my points or my position, you feel threaten your position? And so I don't like that. Simply put, I don't like that shit. I truly believe people can come with differing values. And if we can find something similar, we can stand behind each other. But we must come from a place of authenticity, or say what you are. Like I say all the time, I'm not the one to judge. I may not like what you say and what you do, but if you're honest about that, and you've been honest and you've proven yourself on that platform, in that thought process, I can better reach an agreement with you through debate than someone who's Machiavellian, is what I'm saying. Now, do I have a problem with the Machiavellian energy? Yes, in theory, but in a way, we probably all participate in that type of energy. Okay, people who I've respected, I've seen it, and it's like, damn, you can't do a basic thing. You can't be who you are. You will use these methods, and you think people are not looking. You think no one can account for it. How can you expect someone to respect you when they clearly saw you go against your own standards to further an agenda, which then makes me feel like your position is riddled with ego, and it's self-serving, as opposed to you being a servant of the people. That's in a smaller way the same thing that these globalists are doing. However, they may be more sinister, but I like to believe that their sinister actions, they probably didn't start out that way. And it was through unchecked power that they developed the triad. We will talk about psychological terms called the triad. It's psychopathic triad. So you have narcissism that's in there. You have megalomaniac kind of behavior. In other words, you have people who do not mind oppressing people for their ends. They do not mind, regardless to what, for their ends. And we will talk about how the triad works. But if you want more of that kind of talk, because you may be able to learn something from this, and especially when dealing with people in your personal life. Because let's be honest, tarot, we use a lot of tarot to figure out what's going on in our relationships. We will talk about the psychological, I believe it's called the sociopathic triad. And you see it in a lot of world leaders, globalists. And when we notice these type of behaviors from people at a grassroots level, eventually that part of the survival nature will get out of check, because guess what? You do it because you can get away with it, right? You do it because you can get away with it. So there's nothing to check you. And if you already present that on a small scale, then on a larger scale, there's no telling where and how far it can go. Okay. So it's you don't know who to trust. Okay, you don't know who to trust, and I'm not saying you should put all of your trust in any one person, but I spoke very passionately a couple of months ago about factions, and that we would break out. What I see the political system moving into is that we would no longer have Democrat and Republican, but instead we would have factions based on people's need for their voice to be heard, their concerns, and it will be many different factions. So Donald Trump may truly be the last president, because you're going to have different groups. Okay. And I saw that. I saw that for not just America or the United States of America, but all over the world. And it's kind of that final hurrah before we get into the true age of Aquarius. It's almost like humanity will have to undo itself completely to be reminded of the basic way we should treat each other in our communities. Okay. And I'm just hoping that we get to that a lot sooner than later. Okay. So let's see here. Hey there, Thomas Dahl. Hey there, lovely Kai. Hey there, Queen of Water. Shout out to you, honey. Shout out. Queen of Water is another one of our illustrious moderators. And she has a beautiful channel. Queen of Water, can you put your channel in the chat? So that way, if people would like to know about your tarot and your oracle skills, that they can get in touch with you for that. BB says here, Malcolm X was speaking about human rights violations committed by the USA and taking our government to court in front of the United Nations for their abuses. Exactly. It's a lot of things was going on. Too bad the United Nations probably was in on a lot of that human rights violating in the first place. It's just a way to control it and put out a figurehead to say something different, you know. BB says it hasn't been a secret. The entire world knew and has known. Exactly. I mean, was it not Arabia that started the slave trade, which then was I guess progressed into Europe by way of Spain and so on and so forth? You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay, Earth Angel Tarot Therapies. Earth Angel Tarot Therapies. Okay. That's my girl, Queen of Water. Okay, go and check her out. I believe that she's fantastic. Excuse me. And she also got that water energy. Okay. Super soothing, understandable, understanding and nurturing. Okay. Just really beautiful spirit. So let's get into it. And she's from Australia, and I love my Aussies. Okay. I would say out of the Western nations, and I don't know how, and I'm sure that Australians have their own set of political issues, especially as it relates to, human rights and that sort of thing. But I really like how Australians have demonstrated. Australians, and I know you guys are different than those from New Zealand, but I like how the society is more accepting to the West hand, the Western world needing to find more equality. And there just seems to be awareness with some of the people, some of my Australian comrades when it comes to human rights and righting the wrongs of the past. And you don't get enough press here in the U.S. You really don't. I have several friends that I've met here in Denver, Colorado, who are Australian and also from New Zealand. And it's almost uncanny to meet someone that's that far across the globe who understands the history of my people and sympathizes, and truly not sympathizing from, I feel sorry for you, but almost like an admiration, like a mutual admiration. And I'm going to tell you, I find that to be authentic, and I find it to be, very beautiful. Even though I do know that Australians, have your issues with the natives, the Aboriginals, right? But I find that interesting. So thank you for being here, and shout out to Earth Angels Tarot by way of Queen of Water. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to turn the camera on. I just wanted to say that. Okay, I'm going to continue to come here and state my opinion. Okay, and give readings and topics. I just the air in me just was not there today. I just, if you want to hear about all of that, make sure that you go. BB has the link in the chat. Make sure you go to Nala-Ife Talks Live. And at some point, we're going to have to start really examining people who are hoisting themselves on the front line and calling things out as they are. If there are to be factions, let it start now, because it's critical. Okay? It's critical. And if I'm going to fight for any rights, I want to make sure that my rights are on the forefront. Okay? Or I am represented or within a group that considers me an equal. Outside of that, you might as well be the enemy against the people of color here in this country. You might, as far as I'm concerned, because you don't represent the same values. And if anything, you may be instrumental in the abuse of Black women or Black trans women. And that's not good enough. Another thing too, people take horoscopes too seriously. I mean, the whole thing, like, people love to assign issues based on a person's sun sign. And I don't get that, because it kind of comes from people who it makes you sound ignorant. Like, it really kind of makes you sound ignorant, because if you are any student of astrology, then you understand that we are a composite of all 12 zodiac signs, with the sun sign being the expression. And so if you're going to be insulting in any kind of way, find another way that is more intellectual, because it'll hit different than if it's just stupid. So y'all try not to do that, because that's one of my biggest aggravations, is when people stick to the sun sign, because if anything, it's stupid. Okay, it's just stupid. All right, okay, and my Mars in Aquarius can't deal with that at all. Like, the quickest way for me to write you off is for you to present. Like, when I say ignorant, I really mean indignant. A person who's being indignant is not necessarily ignorant. They just bucking at the moment. Okay. But if you truly present as ignorant, I can't do anything with you. I will I can't do it. I can't do it. All right. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Anyway, here we go. So you said there's a rally. Yeah, Queen of Water, we all have a ways to go. We all, girl. We all have a ways to go. Let's pull a couple of cards. So we are at minute 33:13. So I'm gonna make sure to load that. That's when the reading starts. I'm gonna pull some cards from my Psychic Tarot, the Psychic Tarot deck. Okay. Remember, y'all, before you get behind people, see who they are connected to. See who they talk with. Who do they have conversations behind the scenes with? Okay? Who do they mess with before you get behind them? Okay? And even if you want to take some of their information, all right, that's fine. Give them an ear. But try not to be, in this time, this is for everybody, try not to give that person everything, because people want to believe that they are the smartest cat in the room. People want personal adulation. They want to feel bigger than life, but through the diminishment of another. Okay? This is not a good character trait. I do not care how you slice it. I don't care how you slice it. You may say, well, this is strength. Ain't nothing wrong with not a little, but ain't nothing wrong with confidence. But there is something wrong with unadulterated arrogance. It leads to other issues. Okay? Because a leader listens to its people. You hear me? A leader is, if they are a leader of the people, they are appointed by the people, thus adhering to the values of the people. And if their talking points, their complete talking points, do not cover the whole entire people, then there's a problem. A lot of people believed in Gandhi until they read about Gandhi's writings and saw how Gandhi really felt. Okay? And his sexist beliefs, down to the even his pedophilic beliefs. You don't be that group of people that put someone in a position without questioning the character. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say it for however long. I don't care about your background. I don't care about if you went to jail. I don't care about any of that. I care about now that you have an assumed amount of power, how do you use it? Okay. Furthermore, I am concerned that we look at spiritual systems, because this war that's going on, before a physical war breaks out, it is all spiritual. So if it is all spiritual, why are we not looking at the spiritual depth of the people in leadership? If we are in fact in a spiritual war, how can you say that you are behind someone, yet you can't account for where they're coming from spiritually? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, because these are people's lives. We are not little puzzle pieces on a chessboard. And if you already present that way, then you are not a public servant. You are a game player. Present yourself as a game player. I'll respect you more. I'll respect you more. You're not a public servant. Now, I'm not saying public servants shouldn't know how to play chess. But when you have people like me who know how to play connect dots, we need to see that gameplay, that you see the humanity in the people. If you're not able to see us as humans or have that empathy, I don't want your leadership. And you shouldn't either. All right. So not in these times. Not in these times. As we're moving forward in the age of Aquarius, you shouldn't either. Age of Aquarius is going to bring, because this is a part of the reading, so don't think it's not. The Age of Aquarius brings accountability for each as an individual, because each individual has to be accountable in order to bridge change for the collective. Okay? And if you don't look at me more than a chess piece, then how can you talk about anything when you merely want us to act like robots? You know? Let's get back to our human energy, okay? Or better yet, our galactic energy. So what are the first cards? Spirit, can you give us a highlight on Black Lives Matters? Talk to us about how Black Lives Matter, the protest, the agendas, how are these things going to unfold over the rest of 2020? Conflict and defeat, solar plexus chakra, ego can be found here, confidence, okay, authority, the Emperor card, and sacrifice. Okay. For us around the world, we do need to do some study. This is the Hermit card. The Hermit card asks us to seek deeper. It asks us to look at things with more introspection. It asks us to be more introspective. Okay. It asks us to be studied and to really, really see what's going on. The Hermit relinquishes ego for enlightenment. Okay. So to answer the question that BB has posed up here, my question would be advice for the people in the movement. You want to be hermit-like. You want to observe what's going on. You want to get to the bottom of things. The Hermit is ruled by Virgo. Okay. And in this, we have the solitude. And you see that she has a book right here. Okay. She studied. She's looking at the ancient secrets. Okay. Ancient wisdom. Okay. She's not looking at what's popular or what is right in the now. She's looking at what is tried and true. See, this is the thing. We are on the earth plane. And there is a thing called transcendence. You will not leave this prison planet until you have evolved to a certain point. It will not be by relinquishing your responsibilities. Because let's be real, this realm is ruled by Saturn, the devil. As Fernando Prudhomme says, the people's astrologer. You guys need to check him out. And with that, the devil understands what your weaknesses are. The devil can be the center of indulgence. And so the devil can also provide you all it is that you seek to test your heart, to see if you truly are ready for the Aquarius energy, which is going to be transcendence. It's going to be moving into, it's going to be evolving in a way, right? Evolving and raising your awareness past the 3D. But you must go through the gate of the devil, Capricorn, Aquarius, the star card, and the high priestess, Pisces. Okay. But prior to that, this solitude card, this Hermit card represented by Virgo, is that introspection before we get to the second half of the zodiac. Okay. Or one could say the 12 houses. All right. It's this point in which we become more critical of the information that's around us. So I can say this year in 2020, you really want to be researched. Do not believe the first thing that comes out. Okay. Because a lot of things from what I'm seeing here with the conflict and defeat, it feels like those who are in this fight are in for a lot of conflict. And if one is not studied, if one is it moves based on their emotions, they could experience a lot of defeat. This card is in accordance to the Five of Swords, which talks about the arrogant, narcissistic leader who wins by any means necessary. Okay? Despite their own people being tired, they will cut their own people to gain a win. And we also notice that we have the authority card here, which is ruled by the Emperor. Okay, these are not very good cards. I'm going to be honest with you, especially when we have it combined with the sacrifice card. Okay, this is the death. Okay, so with this Black Lives Matter, there's a lot that's going to stand to come out of this. All right, what I see here is egos. Major figureheads in different countries. UN, it's funny that BB mentioned the UN. I see that being a big struggle. I see a lot of ego as it relates to human rights. And this could be connected to there being agitators in the United States and all across the world to cause the government to fight its own people, which would then lessen the government's ability to have the people on their side, which would make them vulnerable to foreign invasion. Okay, so this is big. Okay, it may start off, kick off with Black Lives Matter, but what we see here is people breaking out. There being a huge hand of power playing with people's lives. Okay, playing with people's lives, and because of the ego, the solar plexus here. You know, I don't like to see the solar plexus chakra card in between conflict and defeat and authority. This means that this person is not a servant, a public servant, like people want to believe they are. Okay, they're not. Okay, these people are not thinking ahead of. They're not thinking up for the people. They're thinking about their ego and how they present themselves. And because of that, there could be more sacrifice. But let's also look at it like this too, okay? To lighten this up. All right. This could be what is oh, I don't like that. I have to show you guys that card. This could be what allows us to be more introspective, because we truly see that we are here alone. Again, I spoke to you guys before the reading about the different factions. And this may be the creation of the factions because we're tired from the emotional loss. Okay? And we're trapped because of the foundation that we're standing on. There is something going on with our creativity, the sacral chakra. And we have the magician here. This is the magician at work. When we lack awareness about what truly is going on, then there's a war on our sacral energy, the sacred sexual center. We may even have a lot of things come out about the perversions of sex and how that has led to the deterioration of the people. We'll have to get more into that. However, we are trapped in fear, and there is a strong hand that's coming down. And this is globally. Okay? The remedy here. Let's look at the remedy. I have to look at the remedy. We can go into more questions. If you guys have questions, please post them. Okay? This isn't good. This isn't good. People don't listen. People do not listen. BB says here, our computer's moving slow. When you say Black Lives Matter, are you speaking on that one organization or the movement as it pertains to all the organizations that are involved in the current movement? All the organizations. So I'm not speaking on just the one organization. I'm talking about it all because that's a great question, because the Black Lives Matter movement has been stated that George Soros is funding the official Black Lives Matter to create anarchy and disruption within the Americas. Okay, so to gain, because there's a video out about him saying he plays both sides. Okay, so watch people who openly admit to you that they, like, people will tell you straight up, like, we're in 2020 now. People will tell you straight up that they are Machiavellian. Okay, I heard one guy just tell you straight up how to play both sides. When people tell you that, believe them, believe them, believe them. They are not fit to be in a position of leadership. They play both sides. It's simple. I don't understand how people think, oh, I can friend this person and they gonna fuck with me. No, bitch, they play both sides. Don't you get it? Da da da. Like, Anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but I get where you're coming from. That's a great question, because you do see that same element. You see the George Soros, the shadow government. You see that at work in that spread that I just laid out. So that's a great question. However, when you have those kind of people in power, even the organic roots movement of Black Lives Matter, or any group that is supporting those, not just Black people, but people of other colors, because they see human rights violation happening with Black people, which I told you guys long time ago, or at least on my Nala-Ife Talks Live, is that what humanity is waking up to is that if you do this to this group, then it's only so long before you do this to another group. And so if I turn a blind eye, then I open the door for you to mess with me. You know, if I turn a blind eye to you abusing my neighbor, then I just opened the door for you to come and abuse me and mine. Kind of energy, right? So if we look at it and interpret it just from the Black Lives Matter movement, if they are corrupt, then eventually it will begin to rot out the other subsequent organizations because they won't see it coming. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's what's going to cause us to be more introspective about who we place in positions of leadership. Okay. So that's very, very interesting. Very great, good question that you asked there. Okay. So what I would like to know here, what is Trump's true opinion of Black Americans and race relations that have been oppressive for Black Americans? What is his true belief system as it relates to Black Americans and the nature of oppression of Black Americans? Basically, I want to know if he's an ally or if he's a foe. Suffering in silence. Heart chakra. Interesting. Financial material change is very interesting. Movement, choices, and decisions. At the bottom of the deck here, passion ignited. Wow. Now, you know what? Okay. I'm going to look at this a little bit more, but let me just break down what I'm getting here, okay? Can you guys see these cards? Wow. So I hope you guys are already seeing, because I use the easy tarot for everyone. I hope you're kind of seeing what I'm seeing here a little bit. So Trump is not as harsh per his emotions and not as critical, believe it or not. Okay, he's not able to express this the way he wants to, thus the suffering in silence. We also have the heart chakra card. He's starting to understand possibly an error in his ways. And you know something? I find that surprising. Because, again, we don't really see, Trump express these things. We see it in his actions. Okay, and the policies that have actually helped people of color in this country, but we don't see it in his expressions. But there is a suffering in silence, almost like he knows that he's at war in his own party. Like he's at war in his own party, and he also knows the secrets of maybe the other party. And he's not able to really express it because it would be very dangerous for him. He is concerned, however, that the moves that are being made, the fact that he doesn't know what's going on, but the moves that are being made is going to cause the country to be financially in turmoil. He's concerned about a recession, and he's trying to move correctly. Okay, there is a new passion, and wow, kind of like a transformation in Trump, a balance here. A lot of his old thoughts he's even re-examining his beliefs, because he understands that he didn't lead from this same place right here, and his opinion has been changed since becoming the president of this country. And he's in a real war right now. He's in a real war. Okay? Some would say this is with the globalist. Okay? Some would say that. And he's trying to decide how he's going to move. This is a king with the Two of Pentacles. He's juggling. He's juggling resources. He's juggling with the Republican Party and how he shows up so that he can keep their support with what he's actually doing. Okay. However, he feels like that he's out in the cold. He feels like he doesn't really have any support. There are factions. I'm going to tell you right now, he is afraid for his life. Trump is afraid for his life right now. Okay. But what I do see is that this is going to spur some sort of rebirth with him. There's some sort of transformation, some sort of passion igniting within him. Okay. It's going to ignite something where he's trying to pull the world together. But it will come at a price with this sacrifice. But it may be, there will be victory and success for him. But let me tell you, with this Devil card here, there's a lot of disruption. Trump is not supported by, he's surrounded by foes right now. From what I'm seeing here, he feels that there needs to be more money within the communities. He feels that lack of opportunity has caused Black Americans to be held backwards. He feels like he feels that our voice has been constrained. And it almost feels like too with him, he's looking at like, well, why didn't I invest? Like he's seeing the loss in money from him not investing sooner when he was a businessman. Okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. He sees his lack of movement or his prior judgments as a negative thing against his legacy. And that had he invested sooner, things would have been a lot better. There is some regret that he went in on the Republican ticket instead of an independent, but he wouldn't have won if he was an independent. And so it was strategic for him to go under the Republican ticket because he was originally Democratic. And because he has Democratic values, he really should have, it would have been ideal for him to run as an independent because he's not truly a conservative. In the new sense of things. I know people talk about like the Republican Party and they talk about, the part is considered the party of, oh my goodness, I can't believe that is escaping me right now. A major Black leader from the 1800s. Oh my God. I can't believe it escaped my mind just as soon, but it was a party in which Black people or people who were newly released from slavery actually, were a part of because they wanted the opportunity to join the society, capitalistic society, to pull their own selves up by their bootstraps. I can't think of the Black political leader in the late 1800s. I can't think of his name. He has like the fro with the part on the side. I can't think of his name, and I can't believe my ass forgot just as soon. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back to that. But it originally was a party that served the newly freed slaves so that they could get on their feet, create business and industry for themselves. Okay, I believe in a way he's wanting to return it back to that. Okay, I'm really, really, really shocked. I'm more or less shocked that they're suffering in silence, that he doesn't have any allies in his camp. And I'm going to tell you something. I believe this to be true. And the reason why I believe this to be true is that when he sent that tweet out, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, he didn't realize that that was a quote from a Florida police chief in the 1960s that was heavily racist, and he was discouraging the protests in the 1960s, and he used the term, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, right? I believe that when Trump tweeted that, it was through the advisement of someone on his team. Now, I'm not going to be like everyone else, okay, who said, oh, I know he didn't mean it. How do you know he doesn't mean it? You're not really there, okay? You don't know he didn't mean it. It just serves your point of view, okay? Let's be real here. It serves your narrative. However, I did feel that at that time that it was a person on his team that said it, and Trump being a Gemini, I'm a Gemini rising, BB's a Gemini. We like catchy phrases, okay? We're wordsmiths, okay? Anyone who's a Mercury dominant person, whether you're Virgo or Gemini, you are something else with words. Like, catch us in a fight, we will roast you down, period. Okay, there's no greater roaster in the world. I lied. Scorpio is a hell of a roaster, okay? And so is Taurus, okay? But when it comes to just sheer like wordsmith, gamesmith, like roasting you on an intellectual level, is going to go to the Mercury babies. I believe he heard when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and he was encouraged to use that term and didn't understand the connotation in the history of it. And it was a setup to make him look bad, but from inside his own party. Okay. And so that's how I interpret this. Okay, but there's a new Trump that we may see. However, he may be met with resistance. And this could come in the form of other dignitaries and political leaders around the world who may benefit from, again, the not just the oppression of Black people, but also the oppression of the peoples, because they may be a part of the elite group. And so he doesn't feel supported. Okay, he doesn't feel supported right now. I will say, based on these cards here, let me look at this. Let me look at this here really quick. Talk to me how Trump is going to move. How is Trump going to move really quick as it relates? And I'm going to get off of this one so we can move into another question. How is Trump going to move as it relates to the Black Lives Matter movement moving forward? How is he going to make this work with the juggling? He's worried about his legacy, as he should be. He's worried about his money too, as he should be. Okay. He's also worried about the connections that he had with Epstein. He's worried about the connections he's had with other people, and how they could be used against him, because he does have some dirt. He does have some dirt. Okay, it could hurt him extremely financially. And the people that he's working for, that he's realized that he's working for, have the access to that. Okay. Yeah. The 10 of Pentacles, this is his legacy. So he's going to be forced to make some moves based on trying to protect his legacy as well, guys. Okay, because of victory. He's gonna come out. I mean, this is the same thing. It's going to help him make decisions. He is Gemini, so he knows how to play the game, but he's going to secure his own legacy first. So we may still see him do some unsavory things or say some things, but he's trying to secure the bag. You know, everybody's trying to secure the bag. But I see with the Hermit card, he is a truth. He is looking for the truth of all things, okay? He just hopes that he's able to speak his truth, and that justice will prevail in his favor. So he's in a fight. He's in a hidden fight that we don't. I know we've heard people talk about, but he is in a hidden. This confirms that he's in a hidden fight. He's in a hidden fight, and he is worried about things. He is worried about everything, Okay, he's actually a lot more worried than he presents himself. Okay, yeah. BB says here, let me put that up here. He spoke. Come on, my computer is running really slow, guys. He spoke about the state of Black Americans while he was on the campaign trail, but the media jumped all down his throat as if a businessman. I know he kicking himself. Yeah. Oh yes, and thank you for that, Tiffany Johnson. The Republican Party originally was the party of Frederick Douglass. Thank you for that. Oh, it was catchy, BB girl. It was. Oh yeah, Scorpio and Taurus will get you. Malcolm X was a Taurus, exactly. You know, I can roast because I have a Taurus moon, a Gemini rising, and I'm an 8th house Capricorn. Sun, Venus, Black Moon, Lilith, Mercury. I will, yeah, 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 yeah. That Scorpio energy, that Gemini energy, that even Virgo energy will roast you down, baby. Will roast you down. Okay, and that Taurus energy as well. Capricorns can roast too, but Capricorn, it's not fair when Capricorns roast because they are calling out your weaknesses. There's no argument. It's not even, they don't even allow for any room for playfulness. You know, they don't even allow for it. It's like the game is over. All right, we don't want to play no more. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into question. Will there be, what I would like to know as it relates to Black Lives Matter, is Black Lives Matter covering up the indictments that are, I've heard about indictments, right? I've heard about indictments that are being issued for certain Democratic leaning officials and celebrities. Was Black Lives Matter constructed to cover up that? Because I want to get to the bottom of that. I want to get the answer myself because I don't read on these things in my off time because I have clients that need me to read for them. So let's see. We have foundations and achievements, wisdom, triumph. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And stand your ground. I want to pull one. Bitch. Okay, deception and envy. Third eye chakra. Y'all better get y'all psychic. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Okay, there it is. Deception and envy. Okay. So that's your confirmation. Okay, we're talking foundation and achievements. There are certain things that people are trying to hold down. Okay, with this wisdom card here, this is like foundation and achievements, like the Four of Wands, trying to protect the house that they built. Okay, wisdom would be the Hierophant. It would be trying to protect the institutions that they've built. With the Triumph card, they want to continue to operate as they have in some form. And they are willing to fight to do so, withstand your ground. With deception and envy. Okay? They are utilizing magic. They are utilizing sorcery. They are utilizing psychics. They are utilizing astrology. They are utilizing high magic and sorcery. Okay? High magic allows for you to invoke certain energies, whether they certain angelic energies, okay? But you got to understand that just like you can invoke with high magic. Okay, I'm finna get on a little. It's not a rant. I'm not finna rant, okay? But I need to separate the difference between most of your spiritual practitioners versus what we may be seeing here. And I'm also going to say this. Yes, there are certain small practitioners that are hired by government officials to do harm to groups of people, large groups of people, because they have a lot of hatred in their heart. So when you see small practitioners that operate behind the shadows, in a sense, to do harm, you got to understand that there are different levels. You have some that just do baneful magic, but you have some that are hired by officials and they sell out their own people to enact violence against their people. Okay. So there are different sanctions, but this kind of high magic, this is a level of high magic in which you're able to not only call upon certain angelic figures, but you are able to call upon certain demons. Okay, you're able to go through, you're able to recite or break open certain seals. Okay, and they are working to create this cloud that I told you guys about that would blind you. Their aim is to blind people third eye. So you want to make sure you decalcify your third eye right now, because the goal is to make it to where you are not connected to your higher self worldwide. It was not expected that the Black Lives Matter movement would bring people to a level of awareness, because remember, I talked to you guys a couple of months ago about this cloud that I felt was keeping us from a certain high functioning consciousness. Their goal here is to I guess was to utilize this source of magic. It could be through alchemy and it could be through mechanical devices in some sort to block you from being able to see past things. Okay, if you are a psychic, if you are a tarot reader, if this is not your profession, don't come out the woodworks talking about it unless you feel comfortable utilizing it as your means of expression to move your people forward, because you are under attack. So I'm just going to keep it real with you. You are under attack right now because you're going to feel it more sensitive. So if anything, you definitely want to consider an alkaline diet, something that is not, you want to reduce the acid in your diet and reduce anything that is blocking or calcifying your third eye. A lot of people may be experiencing extremely deep levels of sleep, trance-like sleep. Be careful. Protect yourself in deep sleep, because these technologies can enter into your consciousness in sleep. Okay? I have witnessed this firsthand I've witnessed it firsthand. Okay. And BB, you talked to me about the City on Fire, right? That City on Fire reading. If you are not subscribed to my Nala-Ife Talks Live, I suggest you do that. I will, on that channel, put in the community section the City on Fire channeling, where I talk to you guys about a dream that I had, because that is probably coming up here soon. Okay. But if you are a high vibrational, intuitive person, it is definitely of your best interest to call down your ancestors and your protection at this time. Again, we are under spiritual warfare. Okay. This is not a test. This is spiritual war. And it is, and as you can see right here, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to this. You see he has a mask on, but you can't see his eyes. Okay. And it's like he's in a trance and he unsheathes his eyes. There's something about the eyes blinding. And then I did talk to people about being careful about being at the protests, and because we don't know what substance is actually being injected in that pepper spray. Okay. Again, some people have stated that we don't know what's going on with the military and with the police. Okay. And this is not just, I'm speaking about it being in the U.S., but let me make this very clear. These tactics would be happening all over the world. Okay. And I spoke to you guys because I got that channel message a week ago, and I spoke about it a couple of days ago on my Nala-Ife Talks Live channel, Be careful about that tear gas, okay? I understand some people believe that coronavirus was a flup and it wasn't anything. That was a drill, okay? And I'm not saying I believe in coronavirus, but we do not know what's in that pepper spray, okay? So people's eyes could be affected. Is how I was seeing it when I spoke on it a couple of days ago, okay? And that's why it just came to me, okay? So your third eye chakra, okay? This is blinding of you being able to see, and also blinding you being able to see spiritually, okay? And it's all for a material harvest, okay? And it's meant to happen. It's written. It's meant to happen to go and cause this disruption. This is the wheel of fortune, okay? This is the uprooting of the greed on earth, and it's meant to attack, and it's being generated by the base chakra. I overheard someone basically stating about spirituality, and it's almost like they kind of gave an idea that if unless you're a pervert, you can't be spiritual. Well, I argue that when you stay in your base chakra and you are led by your genitals and your need for greed and murder, you are homicidal. So if you agree with homicidal people, stay the far fuck away from me. Okay? Because you are a whole different species that is here to destroy and disembowel the people for your gain. Base chakra is being indicated here, and obstacles and challenges, which is the Five of Wands. So this is arguments, this is fighting, okay? Breaking out. Y'all, the tarot is not set in stone. The tarot is letting you know if we don't do some shit. Basically, with all the efforts that have been done, I don't care where you are on the scale, all the efforts that have been in place up until now still produce these results. So you better change that shit if you know you are operating in a low vibrational place. Otherwise, you are ushering in the things that we're seeing on this board. These things can be changed, but the awareness of the people need to change, which is why I am coming live. I don't care if I have 2 or 3 people watching. I'm hoping these 2 or 3 people can be instrumental in getting the message out. You guys need to share this video. This is not a fucking game. Okay? This is not a fear tactic. Fear, danger is real, but fear is a choice. Okay? And listen up real good for those who like to watch in the shadows and then twist what we find here for their agenda or their point of view. Your efforts add to the destruction. Do you understand? It's time to evolve the way you move. Otherwise, you are instrumental in this destruction. You are not helping it. You're actually hurting it. Do you understand me? I can't be any more clear than that. Okay? Okay. Even the so-called truth seeker situation, you basically are helping the factions that you are supposed to be exposing advance their operations. You understand? Because you're not activating the proper part of the people. You're activating people's base chakra. You're not activating their third eye. You're not activating their crown chakra. You are activating their base chakra, inflating their sacral chakra, burnishing their solar plexus. And I never understood that when people get up to, they want to encourage people to wake up, but then they call everyone stupid. That works counterproductive. Like, how do you call everyone stupid, but you want them to wake up? How do you tell people that they don't know what they're doing, but you want them to wake up? That's dumb. Like, that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Why would you, how do you encourage people by insulting people? So basically, the efforts to wake everyone up that has been on the board has actually hurt people more and lended people to be of a follower mentality, to not innovate themselves and see things for themselves, but instead they have to wait for a man to tell them about themselves, thus adding to the calcification of their third eye, because they rely on you to do it, thus making them a dumbass that follows orders instead of being and they're relinquishing their ability to be a sentient being so that they can understand what's going on. Do you get it? Like, do you get it? So for everyone who thinks they're being cute and making themselves superior in knowledge, by you utilizing the rhetoric of calling people dumb or stupid, you are actually furthering the agenda, dumbass. You know, it's so stupid. You negate the power of humanity by making yourself the all right leader. So again, now we're talking about people who are in leadership being more self-serving than empowering and innovative. Wake the fuck up. Okay? So let's get into it. All right. So now that we're here, I would like to know about the police officers. If you guys know the names of the police officers, can you please put them in the chat? We have done a couple of ceremonies, me and my sisters. I have sisters that are in Minneapolis. I have sisters that are in LA. I have sisters that are in Memphis. I have sisters that are in New Orleans, in Mississippi, in Chicago, and in New York. Okay? And we have been doing work, and there have been other groups, covens, elays, and we've been communicating. Okay? However, you can only do so much if the people are unwilling to be a vessel of change. Okay? So, let's get into it. Talk to me about the arrest as it relates to George Floyd. I'm going to do a basic spread, and if you guys have the names of the officers, please let me know. I also want to know if the case against the police officers that shot the young woman, if that's also going to be revisited, if we'll see a conviction there, okay, or we'll see an arrest there, okay? Exactly. We do have lack of progression. We have a lot of people blowing a lot of hot air and ain't doing nothing. Ain't doing bumping gums and rotting teeth. That's it. Okay, and I can say that with all the buckness of my teeth, but they not rotten because I'm not speaking shit, you know? So let's get into it. All right. Talk to me about the arrest. The waiting game is going to be a long. There's going to be something else. It's a waiting game. There's going to be something else that comes out that distracts us from the arrest, guys. I'm going to be real with you. Okay? There's going to be another event that comes. It's going to take a minute for us to see resolution. Okay? Okay, we have Derek Chauvin. We have Jay. I'm going to read for all four of them. I'm going to pull a card after I do this spread. Okay, they're going to fuck up the evidence. Okay, I'm going to let you guys know if there's anyone who knows anybody in the police department, DA, they're fucking with the evidence. They're fucking with the evidence. It's mental conflict. Okay. All right. Okay. We have some victory and success, and we have sacrifice. So they're going to have to. So what I'm getting here is that some of the cops will not be convicted, and they may fail on some of the charges, which may throw the case. Okay, there is a positive movement forward as it relates to this, but we may not get what we want because they're going to have to sacrifice something as it relates to the case. Okay. A new beginning. The outcome is going to be a long case. It's going to be a long case. There will be positive, but we're going to have to sacrifice something. Something's going to have to be sacrificed. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's really good. But we do need to I need you guys, if there's anyone who will come across this reading, please protect the evidence of the case. Please protect it. There are people who are doing like videos, and what it is what I'm getting here, the videos that are being placed out are swaying the public's opinion, which will sway the judgment of the officers who are being charged. So the internets are gonna fuck with the case a little bit. Okay, the internets are gonna fuck with the case a little bit. So I'm hoping that they do try to keep that they do more when they're looking for jurors for these cases, that they actually analyze these people psychologically. Okay, hell, look at their voting record. Shit. Okay, like, but it will be a positive outcome, but there will be a sacrifice. So I'm assuming that their sacrifice may be years served. Okay, some of the cops may get off, or one of the cops may get off. Okay, I'm interested in what's going to happen with Derek Chauvin. Show me what's going to happen with Derek Chauvin. BB says here for Taylor, the cops were Sergeant Jonathan Madeline, Detective Brett Hankinson, and Detective Miles Cosgroves. I will look at that too. Exactly, BB. Them being arrested is a lot, but I do want to see a conviction because we do need to make an example. I'm sorry, but it needs to be in history. We need to make an example. We need an example. Okay. We know that Mr. Floyd will get his flowers spiritually if he chooses to reincarnate. Okay, we're having a spiritual discussion. So if y'all not with the spiritual discussion, please exit now. But if he chooses to reincarnate, he is because of the sacrifice he's went through and the way he's went through things, he's going to definitely come into a more enlightened position in this world if he chooses to reincarnate. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you that right now. That's the way that thing works right there. Why do you think that we're still talking about figures like Joan of the Ark? Because when people go through martyrdom, it is elevating them spiritually if it's coming from a pure space. So if they choose to reincarnate because they have not went through their full 12 houses, they come in a much higher position, more influential. Okay, so that's that. Derek Chauvin. I'm moving my braids around, y'all. Okay, it got hot in here a little bit. Derek Chauvin. Tell me what is the outcome for Derek Chauvin. We have material and spiritual prosperity based chakra. He was completely This man right here was completely enraged. Solitude. Okay, he's being convicted. They're going to spend a lot of money. He's going to get a lot of support from racists, from like KKK police department. They're going to pour a lot of money because of survival of their kind with that base chakra. They're going to pour a lot of money into his defense fund. Okay, so if anything, you want to be instrumental in getting these people defunded, some of these police departments defunded, or some of these people out of commission, because they're going to be pouring a lot of money into his defense fund. Okay, they're going to try to find out all sorts of legal ramifications and everything. Okay, this is where that sacrifice is going to be made. Okay. Oh, they may try to get a lesser charge, or them to throw out, like, now I won't say they'll throw out the case, but they're going to try to hurt the case because they're going to hire their best lawyers. They're going to have the money. They're going to try to stall the case as much as possible. Okay. He is definitely in cahoots with a higher organization. Okay. And he also may be tempted to throw other officials under the bus. Okay. Yeah, they're going to fight. He's going to definitely fight in this case. He doesn't have anything to lose at this point. Somehow he has hope. He has some kind of hope in this matter. And he's the one that's causing the waiting game. It's on him. It's on him. This case is going to overshadow the other cases. And this is how fucking A. So the way that this works is that we're going to be disappointed by how this case rolls out, because this may get the other officers off because of how they roll the case out for him. Okay. And so he may be able to avert the second-degree murder charge. Okay. They're going to be trying to see how they can get him to a different facility where he's protected, and trying to protect him in some kind of way. We can change this. This is based on the current energy now. Okay. The current energy now is not focused on what's next. He's getting a pass from a lot of people who are in high places. This Derek Chauvin. Okay. So if I were a spiritualist, I would put an ABB out to spiritualists to continue to work the legal case of Derek Chauvin. Continue to work the legal case of Derek Chauvin. Okay. Because what we need to do is hit that money. Okay. Hit that money. Hit that money and hit the groups. There needs to be infighting. Okay. That's how I'm seeing it here. But that's how that's presenting. Okay. There needs to be disruption in his camp. Okay. Within that police union. Police union. All right. You talk about putting your life on the line. This is definitely putting our lives on the line right here. Okay. So understand that. But there needs to be work on that police union. There needs to be political work. There needs to be an effort to defund them, because they're going to throw the case by holding it out, and this is going to cause the other cops to potentially get off and or be released because of their plea. Okay. But this can turn around. Tarot is a divination system. I don't care what you do. You can change the cards. You can assign your beliefs, but it's about the individual practitioner who's reading it. It's like if I wanted to assign meanings to these stones right here. Okay. this right here is a divination system. I can design it for my guides to work through it, to send me messages. So it doesn't matter how you change or reassign the meanings. If you are a true practitioner with the ability to read, you could read cardboard, you could read raindrops, okay? And your gift still is going to produce the result, okay? So that's just a little bit of a tarot lesson right there. So what I'm seeing here is Derek Chauvin's case is going to be heavily funded by secret organizations. He's going to be given a little bit of pampering while he's in jail. So the finances, the financier of the police unions needs to be hit. Whether that be spiritually or whatever, it needs to be hit. Because that's what's going to throw the case for the other 3 officers. Okay? You're going to have to wait, sweetie. I'm live right now. You're going to have to wait. Sorry, guys. We got real life going on. Okay? Ancestors, protect us in this hour. What else do we have here? Crown chakra and sacrifice. We need to connect with our higher selves, okay? And as soon as I said ancestors, okay, we need to bring balance. We call for our ancestors to protect us and to serve as a wall of protection around us. Some of you guys, if you want to do work spiritually for this, okay, I don't know why I got Ola Dumari. I don't know why I got Ola Dumari. If you are a Ifa priest or priestess, the work is Ola Dumari. Okay, you want to work with Ola Dumari on this, you can bring in the other Orisha, but Ola Dumari it's a mental war, okay, so that you can see things. So there's something with that, okay. All right. So then what else do we have here? I'm not going to go. I'm going to look at Taylor. Yeah, social media is going to ruin that case because of the conspiracy theories as it relates to swaying popular opinion in favor of the police unions. Because by him not being seen as a person, it's going to sway that. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 moment. Because we're going to have to end here. I should be here no more than 20 more minutes. Give me 1 moment. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Okay. So in a way, whatever is causing the conspiracy theories as it relates to the case, there may be incels or different types of people who are putting, like, it's basically by them not making the case real, they are swaying the opinion, which works against the favor of the people who want to see a conviction. So they're working counter. So I'm not sure if these incels are working on behalf of the police unions to cause like they're working on behalf of the police unions to throw the public off, which means the jury off. But they are working to favor Officer Chauvin because they make it seem as though it's not like something that's not real. And so we have to be very careful about that. Okay. So if you are a practitioner, you see that kind of shit going on, you might need to get at them. Okay, if you see clearly that these people are working to sway the public's opinion about how real this was, you might need to get at them because they are working to get these police officers off with murder, basically. Okay. All right. So here we go. It just got real fucking serious. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm gonna look at the young lady. I want to see what is her name, y'all. Breonna Taylor. So let's see what's going on with Breonna Taylor. Will we get an arrest in the Breonna Taylor case? I'm about to wrap this up because it's getting a little crazy. I gotta get back to doing my caretaking duties. All right, and if we have to, we'll do a part 2 to this series because it's going to be a long one. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of people have questions. Will we see an arrest with Breonna Taylor, with the officers who are responsible for the death of Breonna Taylor? I wanted to go into Ahmaud Arbery, but Ahmaud Arbery, I understand one of the guys was an ex-police officer, but since they're not active police, that's a little bit different. I may do an Ahmaud Arbery reading separate from this, okay? So y'all make sure to subscribe, thumbs up the video. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see, and I will come back with an Ahmaud Arbery reading after we get the zodiac readings out. So will we see arrest in the Breonna Taylor reading? We have Shadow, Waiting Game, fucking A, man. Listen. See, this is what I was talking about. This is why I was saying that by there not being proper representation for women who are brutalized by the police, it is not taken as seriously as the men. And that is a problem because a lot of women of color, black women, are on the front lines fighting for justice, but yet they receive no support from the community when it comes to bringing justice to people who have murdered us. And prior to Breonna Taylor, there was a woman in Texas right after the young man who was killed by the white lady cop. She was killed in her home, shot through the window. We've not heard a damn thing else about that, and I am pissed off behind it. And this right here, the same shadows that are working with the case that we have out of Minnesota are going to try to hang up this situation as well. Okay, but there's something with the heart chakra. The difference between this case is that some of the police officers actually care that they fucked up. And they do realize that they overreacted and they feel bad about it. However, they cannot admit to it because then it would bring down the police union. So there has to be a complete change. This right here, I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say it this way. Let me look at this again. There will be arrests made, but do not expect in 2020 to see a conviction. Okay, and it may be a little bit of time to the tune of 2 more months before we see arrest, or it may be something we may have to wait. I wouldn't say 2 months. Let's not say 2 months. We're going to have to wait before we see arrest in the Breonna Taylor case. Okay. Some people are waiting because they want to make sure that if they arrest some people, they can actually get a conviction. because there is something about rushing a case that actually hurts the case. But because there's no outrage, the outrage is not centered around Brianna, and she didn't have that same support. This is why they're able to delay it. Okay? And so there's going to be some obstacles and challenges as it relates to Breonna Taylor. And there may be more protest and disruption as a result. Financial, I'm trying to tell you, you know, this right here, the way that this is looking right here, this doesn't look very good. It looks like they're going to try to justify her murder. Not that she was murdered, but justify it as an accident and as a casualty of what is it called? As a casualty of they were doing their job. It's kind of like if there's a shootout at a bank between the robbers and the police, and if someone gets shot in the crossfires, the police aren't necessarily, even if the shot came from the police aren't held responsible because it's like they're a casualty of circumstance or something like that. I don't know the legal term of it, but they're not going to prosecute it the same way, because the way that they look at it as they were doing their job, they overreacted and they needed more training because, again, she was ignored. We spend too much time, and this is at the hand of the shadow. So they know what they're doing. It's not like this is a proper ruling. This is messed up. So this is something that can change. Remember, when we do these readings, elements can change, but you have to bring something to the table. But as it stands today, that case may not see it through. I'm not saying that they won't receive karma for it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it may be delayed, and it may be delayed in a way that people move on and forget about it. There are new beginnings. There are going to be new policies in the way the police handle arrests, especially surrounding Black people. But this right here is a failure on us as a community, because us not acting until 2 deaths later most definitely contributed to the lack of conviction as it relates to Breonna Taylor. And this concerns me for women of color moving forward, if there will be lack of representation. Okay? I'm going to leave it right here, guys. I hate that this went as far. I looked at the case. I want to look at Breonna Taylor again, and I want to look at Ahmaud Arbery again. Right now it's too soon for the other gentleman. It's too soon right now. It's too soon. He just passed. So let's reconvene, okay? I love each and every one of you. I hope that you really understood what needs to be done. If you want to contribute to the movements, make sure that you do it smartly, and make sure that you start to move officials to take these things more seriously. Because without that, at the current state that we're in now, that's how I'm reading this. The current state of affairs as it is now, the current moves as it is now, these are the outcomes. If things change, if the awareness changes, we could see something different. But with the current focus, it doesn't produce what we're hoping it does, because we're not operating with a full tank of gas. Okay. I hope that this changes. Okay. I would love to give fairy tales and pixie dust and rainbow readings, but how is that going to help us? I believe that doing readings like this gives us more awareness, and when we see that awareness, then we can make changes in the way we talk, the way we conduct ourselves, how we discuss the case, if you are voting locally, how you vote, how you protest if you are going to protest, and so on and so forth. It doesn't change the big picture that we are moving into a paradigm shift, but how we move into that paradigm shift is of our control. So it's up to you guys. Okay? This is your girl Nala-Ife, signing off for Nala-Ife Tarot. I will talk to you guys soon. Tomorrow night we do have the tarot scopes for all 12 zodiac signs. Okay, we do have the those coming up. All right, so make sure you check in with me tomorrow. If I do move it up, I may move it from 9:30 to 10:30. So if I move it, don't get discouraged. Just make sure you're in the space. Okay, I love you guys. I'm finna go ahead and cleanse. All right, do my meditations and get to work. Okay, um, and hopefully we can see some change in the way that this plays out. All right, this is your girl Nala-Ife signing off. Peace.